Who's surprised to see me on this channel? I know it has been a fat minute. Hi, how the hell are ya? It is me and my boo Jordan Fisher today. This is kind of a hint to a future video that's coming this week. I hope you're excited. That's a hint, this is a hint. I'm such a giver, I love that. Anyway, so I'm gonna be honest, I have tried filming this video multiple times throughout the last couple years. One I hysterically sobbed in, one I didn't make any sense in. The other like 3 attempts, I made a video that I was like, okay, this is good, and then something else new happened, so yeah, it's
been so exhausting being me.
And I don't want this video to come off that way. Here's the situation, right? So obviously the last 2 years have just been... That's no secret. What is a secret though is what exactly has been going on in my life. And I don't know why I do this, but when bad things are happening or when big events are happening, I just kind of go in my little shell and I just kind of, you know, keep close to my family or like my inner circle, which isn't a bad thing, but being in this position, I kind of feel like I can't do that all the time. And I know I don't owe anyone an explanation, like I'm here to entertain, I'm here to talk to you guys about music or movies or whatever, but I really do miss having like a really close connection with you guys that I feel like I had years ago, just because I have been so closed off and trying to figure out what's going on with me. I don't feel like I have that connection with you guys, and I apologize, I'm sorry. And I don't want it to be like that. Not saying that I need to have everybody in my business. I'm still gonna like kind of do my own thing and keep certain things close to me, but I don't know. There's so much going on in this head that I don't think I can ever fully articulate what it is. It's just a mess, just know that. So I decided today we are going to sit down and just kind of go through the last 2 years. Actually wrote everything down that I kind of want to talk to you guys about. I probably have forgotten quite a bit, but it was kind of therapeutic, I'm not gonna lie, to sit down and like go through my photos and go through like plane tickets and stuff like that to really see what has happened. And it kind of made me realize like, okay, not everything has been bad. Like there were a lot of good moments that have happened, and it's a shame that like the big things that happened were so sad and just so devastating. We'll get into it, but this is kind of gonna be like a sit down vlog style. I don't know, in my head throughout the years I was like, okay, I'm gonna vlog and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then it just didn't happen. So I have all this footage of nothing. So we're just gonna compile it all here and just like have a good time. I hope you're ready. So I guess the best place to start this off would be 2020. I know, God, we don't speak of her. Obviously March of 2020 happened. We all stuck in our house, doing our thing. Personally, I was starting to go through like the darkest time mentally, just because like everyone else, I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't see my friends, like I actually followed quarantine rules and I didn't do anything outside of my house. But career-wise, I was completely thriving because no one else could go anywhere else. You know, everyone was stuck at home watching YouTube, Netflix, whatever it may be. So it was such a weird thing mentally for me to balance that one aspect of my life was going this way and then the other was going that way. But obviously the biggest thing that happened in 2020 for me was in November. Talked about it multiple times, but it was such a like catalyst of everything else that's happened. But in November of 2020, my grandfather passed away, and that was super hard for me because I was super close with him, and it was kind of like the first immediate death in my family. So I feel very fortunate because at the time I was 23? I still think I'm like 16, so I don't know. But I was 23, so to go 23 years without like an immediate family death, I felt very fortunate, especially looking at my sister, who at the time was 12. And as many of you guys know, I actually still live at home right at the moment. So in the household, it was myself, it was my sister, and my mom. And so this was my grandpa on my mom's side. So I don't know if this is just me. I'm sure other like oldest kids can relate, especially eldest daughters. There is just this role that you feel like you have to play. And especially with my dynamic with my family, my mom being a single mom for God knows how many years, I've always felt like I've had to kind of help protect her and like help my sister. So I never really had time to really process my emotions because I was trying to be so strong for everyone else. We know, self-sabotage, whatever. I'm very good at it. With his passing though, it was very, I hate to say like bittersweet, because he was a very sick man. He had a stroke, he had like heart conditions. So it's like I'm happy that he's in a better place, but it sucks that it's not here. And with that, my grandma was a complete mess, understandably. They were married for like over 50 years. Could you imagine that? Like being married to someone for 50 years? That's so unheard of these days. Like no one stays together. not to sound old, but no one stays together. Understandably, she didn't want to stay in that house because he actually passed away in the house. That's a whole different story. It's whatever. She ended up moving in to this house. So now this house, it's myself, my sister, my grandma, and my mom. And during the time, we actually had to go... Sorry, I got like really bad hiccups. I had a quesadilla before sitting down and doing this. I don't know what the cheese is doing to my body. My body is revolting. That's great. Anyway, so during that time, we were cleaning out the house. We were trying to find a buyer. We were doing storage. Like, it was a lot of moving parts, and it was all happening during Christmas season. It was just the worst experience of my entire life. I'm not going to lie. Like, my family and I, we have this joke. We sincerely do not remember what we had Christmas dinner. You could tell me I ate a human, and I'd be like, yeah, probably. Like, no idea. The month of December and half of January is a blur. Like, I just don't remember anything. And January was like one of the first that I had to experience without somebody. And when I say the first, it's like the first birthday, the first holiday, the first special event where they're not present. And that was his birthday. His birthday's January 5th. So it was just a lot, and I was a mess, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. I've been very fortunate living here, and like my mom letting me live here and everything like that, because girl, it's expensive out there in the world, as we all know. But it kind of sucks because being in this house, I had 2 rooms. I had one that was a studio and then like my own room, and now everything is just in this room. So I've compacted my whole life between these 10 by 11 walls, and that was another thing that was kind of hard to do, and it like definitely made me think about the future and like maybe the plans that I had for myself in 2020 of like I want to travel and then move out. Maybe that's not realistic anymore. You know what I mean? So that's something that I'm still kind of struggling with, but we're figuring it out slowly but surely. But something that was a huge blessing in disguise, and it's kind of like controversial to talk about because I definitely don't recommend people traveling, because at this time we were not vaccinated, but we did everything that we could to be safe. But the 4 of us actually went to Hawaii because we have a lot of family there on my mom's side. And so we went there, and it was so great. One, to not be in this house and to be in that house and to be in this situation of just horror. You know what I mean? Like, it was nice to be somewhere different and being with people who love you and understand you. And it was probably one of the best family vacations I have ever been on.
Who is that? You. You're clown.
That's mean?
Yeah.
That's so mean.
It's true. You're so mean. That's what a camera looks like.
That's a terrible camera. That is not what my camera looks like. That looks like a lock.
It looks like a washing machine.
There you go. That's better. There's me. Don't
Ta-da.
make glory.
Then we fast forward to April. April 9th, I believe, was the day that the house actually sold. We had everything cleaned out. Yeah, it took literally December, January, February, March, April to go through that house, which I know sounds ridiculous, but that house, my grandma and my grandpa had been in since like the 90s, I think. So it was like 30 some years of just crap to go through. And then it was hard because there's like the emotional aspect, especially like for me, in particular, there's this one room that like before I lived here in Arizona, like I would always sleep there. So going through the room and just like memories pop up, it's just a lot. I would not want this on anybody. So anyone who has lost anybody throughout this year, last year, whatever, my heart is with you. It's tough, but you got it. Just keep going. But yeah, so that was also another bittersweet moment because it's like finally we're done. But that's the only house I've ever seen my grandparents in, and to see it just kind of go. Like, if I drive down that way, just feelings come up. Like, it's just such a weird experience. I don't know how to explain it. But we ended up getting another cat because my grandma, and maybe this is where I get it from, she is literally the neighborhood cat lady. Like, she just has food in the yard and then all the cats come. It was never an issue because these cats, like, would go home or go wherever they came from. But there's this one cat that just never left the yard after like a year or so. Like, he was there before my grandpa even passed. And so we couldn't just leave him. He didn't have a home. So we adopted him, little Paddington, you know, after like the bear. So during that time, my mental health was so up and down. Every day, you go up and down. Okay, sorry. My mental health was so up and down. It just really depended on the day, how I was feeling, and it was miserable. So I decided, what does a girl do when she's upset? She gets her hair done. And it was the first time like ever getting my hair done, and I was so petrified because it was, you know, virgin hair, whole new experience, but 2, still not vaccinated. So it's like, do I really want to go sit in a salon? But like, do I want my mental health to keep deteriorating? I don't know.
This is a terrible angle. Oh my god, I look awful. No! My alfalfa hair is really acting up today. You know what's also really acting up? My anxiety. And I think it's because I've literally not been in a salon for over a year and a half. And like, the thought of sitting there is stressing me out. Okay, I'm out! Look at her! Oh, like look at her in the sun. Holy cow. I'm literally a new person. Oh, I'm covering the camera. I'm not a new person. And we cut the length. It looks so good. I'm in shock. I'm literally a new person. Who is she? Who is she? I don't even want to stop like looking at myself. And when do I ever say that? Why am I gonna cry? Anyway, I love it. It looks so good.
And now here we are. I mean, I feel like you can't really see it right now on camera, but in certain lights, oh my god, my hair looks blonde. To the point where my sister's like, have you ever thought of like doing a brownish blonde? And I'm like, girl, my mental health, if it's bad enough, I will.
Don't mention it.
Thankfully, about a couple weeks later, I actually ended up getting vaccinated. Woo-hoo! Plus, Amber graduated from middle school, which is crazy. I'm sure a lot of you are gonna be like, what? And now she's in high school. Like, she's a freshman in high school. What? No. And plus, little Ole Miss was on TV. You know, a little casual, little 3-second cameo, but you know what? It's a glorious 3 seconds, and no one can ever take it away from me. 1, 2, play. Yes. These vocals, are you kidding?
That was
Plus, my first published article came out in the Sense of Self magazine, which, let me go this way. You see it right there. Lauren Haregi was like, you know, the main feature and everything like that. Plus, at this point, I actually got a management team, which I am still a part of, and which is why I make any money because they help me with sponsors and things like that. And I'm really excited. I am so sorry. And I'm so excited to see what can happen in the future when not all of it is just me. Me actually allowing people to help me. Is she okay? And then you fast forward to June, my commentary channel is just absolutely blowing up. I post my Marvel series, which took about 10 years off of my lifespan, not gonna lie. I literally sat in my room. I sat in this 10x11 square of space for 4 days and just binge watched the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And honestly, as much as I'm like, God, that experience hurt me, it probably was the best thing that I could have done for my mental health because, well, kind of. Maybe not the editing process, but the filming. It was so great to go into a world that wasn't my own and just to fully commit myself to something and then see the end results and be proud of them. As much as I'm like scared to ever do anything else like that, it's definitely the most rewarding thing I've ever done on that channel. Then fast forward to July, because everyone's vaccinated, it's summer. I, at this point, have not done a single thing in like a year. I've not been outside the house. I think at this point I had seen my best friend literally only one time, and that was like to go hiking, so we were still outside, we were distanced. Like I said, I tried to do everything that I could to be safe. Especially now having like a grandparent in the house, she's a little more vulnerable. My sister couldn't get vaccinated for the longest time because she wasn't of age. Whole mess. But in July, I actually went on my first trip and I went to Disneyland and I got to meet my internet friends for the first time. At this point, we had been friends for like 2 years? 3 years? I don't know. I'm logging in right now.
Wait, hold on. You're recording, right, Ash?
Yeah, do you guys want to say hi? I just started.
Oh, shoot, I'm not ready, but alright. Can you give us like a...
Hi guys, everybody shut up.
No, Jacob, shut up. Are we doing... Already it's chaotic.
Can I introduce introduce myself?
No. No.
Welcome back to my channel.
Shut up. Okay, shut up.
It was just amazing to actually go and meet them. What wasn't amazing was getting catfished by our Airbnb. Girl, I've heard so many horror stories of people going to an Airbnb and being like, what is this? But this took the cake. Like, looking at the picture, I should have known because the price was way too good for the space, for the location. But pulling up to the Airbnb, like, we had to put our car in a locker thing. I don't even know how to explain it. You park your car, there's no room to get in and out, and then you have to close it and put a padlock, and it was in an alleyway, and you go to the Airbnb, there's no air, there was no vent in the bathroom, and I'm like, 6 people sharing a bathroom and no vent?
Oh, honey, no.
There is no way. No way. It was a mess, so we ended up going to a hotel and just having literally the best weekend ever. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna go shower and like go to bed.
Alright.
Exactly. See you guys.
We can see each other tomorrow!
Okay, bye, love you.
Bye! Then I get back home and, you know, reality kind of sets in, and it's a reality that's really complicated because I find out that my grandpa on my dad's side had passed away. And so it brought up a lot of weird feelings. One, I have a hard time with death anyway, just because the thought of it being so final and you not being here anymore just freaks me out. I'm gonna be honest. I know it's like, oh, well, it's inevitable, happens to everyone. Okay, that doesn't mean I have to be okay with it. But as many of you guys know, I have extreme daddy issues. Love repping my brand. And I've never really gone into detail about why and like what has happened with my dad. And I don't know if I ever will. I don't know. That's like a whole situation on its own. But at this point, I hadn't talked to anyone on my dad's side in like 5 years, 6 years. So it was just like a really weird feeling. I almost felt guilty because it's like, well, it's my grandparent, like, that's family, but they've done so much to me and there's so much toxicity. It was a lot to kind of like wrap my head around. And to be honest, I still don't know how I feel about that situation. I still haven't talked to really anyone on that side. I found out because my grandma on that side contacted my mom and my mom told me. So yeah, it was just really weird. And it's still weird when I think about it, and I still don't know what I'm gonna do about that. That's definitely something that I need to decide, but you know what? I don't got time to think about that, so we're gonna push that to the side. But then you fast forward like a month and a half later, and I experienced a death I thought I was not gonna experience for a long time. But if you guys don't know, because I don't think I've ever really talked about this, but my sister and I, Amber, we are actually half siblings, so we have different dads. And Amber's dad, I have known since I was like 5. He what's that one saying where it's like, I'm not just a stepdad, I'm the dad that stepped up or something like that? Like, that was kind of him. Granted, my mom and him didn't stay together, but even with that, he was still in my life and he still supported me, my mom and my sister, and was still around. A concept, I know. But he actually ended up finding out that he had liver cancer. Woo! And it was very aggressive. I don't even know what stage it was in because it all just happened so fast. And next thing I know, like, he has to go into the hospital and it's like last resort surgery to try to remove it. Because I don't know if you guys know this, I didn't know this, that your liver is one of your organs that can actually kind of grow back or like can heal itself. So they were gonna try to remove it and see if it would work. But the thing is, it was so big and it took up so much that 3 weeks after the surgery, he ended up passing away because the liver like rejected the surgery. So yeah. So that was a tough one because he essentially was my father figure and was my sister's. So again, kind of feeling like I have to step into that role of, you know, being the eldest daughter and like helping everyone out, because obviously my mom was a wreck, my sister was a wreck, I was a wreck, and it was just like, God, we're going through this again. already. Like, it hasn't even been a year since my grandfather passed, and we're going through this now. Why? Like, what did we do? Universe? Like, I have never felt so angry at the world in my entire life, because at this point, I just lost two of literally the only male figures in my life. I did everything that I had to with COVID. I was safe. I got vaccinated. I don't see anybody unless it's like necessary or if we can distance. Like, the only time I did was with my friends. Like, why does this keep happening? But it doesn't happen to people who don't follow the rules, who aren't good people. You know what I mean? Like, I just have never felt so angry. And I was just angry at everything, and it was just such a roller coaster of emotions, always constantly going up and down in how I was feeling and how I was thinking. Really also put a damper on my mood, because at this point, you know, I was really reflecting on things in my life, and at this point it had been 7 months since I had talked to who I thought were two of my best friends. I don't know what happened. Literally, it was just like ghost. You know, like I had known these people since I was in middle school, and then it was like the pandemic really showed how different we were and how different we were in handling situations and how responsible we were. And it was one of those things where it's like, I've always known that, but it was easier to ignore. And then with situations like this and death and like major events, it was like, wow, is this person like not in my life? Like, I've known people for less time than I'd known them, and they're better friends to me than them. And I've always known time doesn't mean anything when it comes to friendship. Just because you've known someone longer doesn't mean that they're better. And I've always said, you know, when it comes to friends, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. But damn, those 100 pennies, like, I still have an emotional attachment to. Like, I've invested so much of myself into them that, and it still is, honestly, a really hard process of just like accepting it for what it is. So not only did I lose, you know, family members, I lost friends, I lost time. I'm in my 20s, like, they're already confusing enough, and you got me stuck in the house with my thoughts? That's mean. That is so mean. But at this point, you know, so much negativity, so many bad things. I decided that I have to be in control of my emotions at this point. Like, so many bad things have happened that I can't let it destroy me in my spirit and stop me from living. I have suffered so much. I'm trying not to cry. I have gone through so much the last 2 years. Like, if anything, I deserve to start doing things for me. I need to focus on me.
I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first.
But anyway, moving on from all that, we fast forward to November. I celebrate my 25th birthday, which is weird. So one of those things that I decided to do for myself, I ended up buying last minute Harry Styles tickets for the Arizona show. I was so excited because, and this is something that is so crazy to think, and something that is definitely keeping me motivated to keep growing. Financially, where I am now, and when those tickets went on sale like 3 years ago, I don't even remember, it's so different. I couldn't even afford to really go to a Harry show. And I was so upset because I have followed Harry Styles since he was in One Direction. Like, I've been with this man for 10 years plus. What? Like, I wanted to see him on his solo tour. I couldn't go to the first one because y'all bitches don't know how to not take all the tickets from me. But I was able to find one last minute, and it was a pit ticket. That was God. God was like, girl, I don't even know if I believe in God, but he came through and was like, you've been through enough. Here's a ticket. Go have fun. And girl, I did. I did.
Good evening, welcome to Love on Tour. My name is Harry, thank you so much. For the next 90 minutes, our job is to entertain each and every single one of you. I promise you we will do our very best. You also have a job, that is to have as much fun as you possibly can. If you want to sing, if you want to dance, please feel free to do whatever it is you want to do in this room tonight. Please feel free to be whoever it is you have always wanted to be in this room tonight. And I challenge you to have as much fun as I'm going to have. Let's go! I'm sorry about you. Never coming back down. Just you could never understand. What do you mean? I'm sorry about
something about hearing Fine Line live.
Put a price on emotion, looking for something to buy. Will we find love? Will we find love? Will we find love?
He's saying that for me. No, if he really wanted to be a true homie, he would have done To Be So Lonely, but that's a different story. I think back to it and I think it's funny, but it also just shows like how much I've grown to appreciate just doing little things. So Harry was my first concert back. I think the last concert I went to was in 2019, was for Ariana. It was either November or December, so I had been like almost 2 years since I'd been to a concert, and y'all know I love going to shows. I love live music so much. The night of my show, I got in the shower, you know, and I was listening to the album because I was excited, I was hyping myself up, and I just started bawling my eyes out in the shower. One, because I was so excited to go, but two, like, it just made me realize how much I missed it, and three, how much I've been through. And I know I keep reiterating that, and I know so many people have gone through so much, but I'm just explaining my situation and my story and what has happened to me. But it was just one of those feelings where it's like, oh, alright, this is what life's about. And I know that sounds so stupid, it's a Harry Styles concert, but you know what? To me, and in that moment, it meant the world. And speaking of concerts, then we turn around and we find out that BTS is going on tour. Or not tour, but they did like 4 days in California. So I ended up being able to go to 2 of those days, which, best day. Best couple days, because then I actually got to go with my internet friends. One of my friends who lives in Texas actually flew out. Everyone else lives in California. I was able to bring my sister, Amber. She has never been to a BTS show. God bless her. And it was so fun. The first night I actually, I look at resale tickets a lot because closer to the days you can find some that are actually really good. And I actually, for the first day, found some that were like 3 rows from main stage. Granted, it was a little bit off to the right, but girl, I still saw them and I was like, oh!
Make some motherfucking
What happened after that, we made this a whole vacation, myself, Amber, my mom, and my grandma, because the anniversary of my grandfather was coming up, and we decided we didn't want to be home. We're not gonna sit at home and do like a pity party situation. So after those shows, conveniently, you know, it kind of lined up. So I was able to take my whole family to Disneyland and like do a whole vacation. We stayed at the Grand California, and I've always wanted to do that, always, because it's like right on property. If you don't know, like you walk outside, you're at downtown Disney, and then you're at the gates. Kind of expensive. Not gonna lie, it's expensive, but it was just such a great experience. I walked into the room after like checking in and everything, and I just started crying my eyes out because I was able to take my family on vacation, and that's 100% thanks to you guys and to YouTube. And it's like, god damn, I don't know how I got here, but I'm so happy I did. And I want to do more stuff like that in the future, and I hope you guys allow me to do that because I will never forget that feeling. And then we fast forward to February of this year. And as you can see from my son right there, that's Mr. Peach. Yes, he's an orange, but his name is Peach. That's the joke. Haha. Very funny, I know. And I actually ended up going to Florida. My uncle is a umpire, and he like does baseball games, softball games, and he had a place for me to stay. And we ended up going to Disney World in Florida. We ended up going to Epcot and Universal Studios, which was insane. That was like by accident, which is even funnier. Like we were just walking downtown Universal, and I ended up being like, let's just go into the park, because there was that one ride I wanted to ride, and Hogwarts and everything. But if you ever get the chance to ride the Velocicoaster in Universal Studios Florida, I mean, I think it was good. My eyes were closed 85% of the time, but it was very fun. 10 out of 10 would do it again. And you know, coming up, I don't really have a lot planned, or I do actually. I'm going to BTS again in April. I surprised my best friend. I surprised Davis because she's been my rock. She's been through everything with me, and I literally could not ask for a better person in my life. And so she couldn't go to the California show, so I surprised her, and I'm taking her to the Vegas one. The following week, I'm gonna take my mom, and we're gonna have like a little girls' week in Vegas. And yeah, I don't know what else I have planned for the year. I hope to do other fun things. Overall, I feel like, kind of what I said in the beginning, I'm so different than I was 2 years ago. I'm grateful for that. I've grown a lot. I don't want to keep you guys out of the loop anymore. I want you to be in my life as much as, you know, you can. Anyway, stay tuned, because not only this channel, but my React channel, my commentary channel are all coming back to life this month. And I'm really excited. I hope you guys kind of stick with me while I figure out the format and how I want to do everything, but I'm excited to just give it my all and just really see where everything can take us, because I have a good feeling. Well, I don't know. I don't think I should say that. I forgot to say this, because the beginning of the year I was at the mall with my sister. I was taking her clothes shopping because she was going back to school. We were almost in a shooting. So that was fine. Besides that though, this year has been fine. Hopefully it stays that way. Alright, see you guys soon. Oh, I will say this though. I'm sitting here saying I don't have anything else planned. Girl, I got so many concerts coming up. I'm going to Billy, I'm going to BTS, I'm going to Conan, I'm going to Olivia, and I'm going to Halsey. It's what she deserves. See you in the vlogs. Bye bitches.